Who is El Chapo? I don't know him. But you're going to find out about him if you don't know about him. And will he be extradited to the United States? And does it make a bit of difference? This is dumb news. In other news, El Chapo. They arrested him. This is the biggest drug lord ever arrested in Mexican history. But can Mexico hold on to this guy? But there are so many problems in Mexico. The whole system in Mexico is corrupt. We all know this. In fact, there are people outside rioting for the release of Chapo. Right now. They want El Chapo, Mr. Guzman, released. They see him as a Robin Hood, though he never really gave back to the town in which he came from. What kind of Robin Hood is that? That's a $2 bill Robin Hood. That's a fake Robin Hood. That's a wooden nickel fucking Robin Hood. Robin Hood has to give back to his home, and he didn't. Now, the U.S. wants him extradited to the U.S., and that's what's new about this case or this situation, is that they have the El Chapo's lawyers, which are to fight to keep him in Mexico, and that injunction has been released. So he can be extradited if that's what we can somehow bargain with Mexico to do. And we really want El Chapo in the United States because the Mexican government or the Mexican law enforcement, he was able to get out back in 2001. See, they had him before, and somehow he escaped in a laundry basket. Yeah, okay. Rumor has it that they paid off guards, and the guards let him freely leave the place. That's really what happened. So there is no trust in the government in Mexico. There is no trust in law enforcement in Mexico. But I don't think this is a signaling that anything was accomplished. None. And that's why most Mexicans in Mexico probably feel like, take what you can, El Chapo. Make your money, baby. Make your money, Poppy. Our government's screwed up anyway. They don't care if we live in poverty. They don't care that our schools are inadequate. They don't care if we have electricity. That's a large portion of Mexico. That's the conditions in which they live. And you think they give a rat's ass. I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about Mexico or about the culture of drugs in Mexico. But I can tell you this. They did a survey and over 70% of Mexicans were somewhere around 70%. I think it was like 68. Let's round it up at 70. 70% of Mexicans believed that El Chapo has more power than their government. Some of them must get that idea from the fact that El Chapo was able to be on the run as long as he has been on the run. You know what's funny? It's funny that someone like El Chapo can play footsie with the United States for years. We've been aiding and abetting this guy. We've been getting information from his organization, the Sinaloa Cartel, to get information on other cartels. We've allowed El Chapo to deal his drugs in the United States to the tunes of billions of dollars through Chicago alone, just so that we can have a way to get information, a way that we could track other cartels. It's all known. It's all in documents. El Universal is one website you can go to. I'm going to link you to it so you can go there and read it for yourself. There are court documents, DEA agents, former and present, admitting to, talking to, communicating with, meeting with El Chapo's representatives and extracting information in exchange for the wiping out of sentences or the wiping out of charges in the United States. It's all a game. It's all shenanigans. This is how the game is played. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I know how the game is played. I'm not going to sit here and say that me watching Homeland, the last season of Homeland, somehow qualifies me to speak on these matters to that extent. But funky is funky and dirty is dirty. We're playing one against the other. And once the shit hit the fan, and it came out that the United States was working with El Chapo, now we want to, I don't know, aid in his incarceration or aid in his arrest. Mexico was not really looking for this guy. Now, forget what you hear. Mexico wasn't looking for this guy. They wanted to find him, they could. This is the guy who walks into a restaurant, locks the doors, has like 30 armed guards with him, and say, everybody put your cell phones away, none of that shit, I'm eating dinner. That's what's up. I'm in town. Then pays for everybody's dinner and leaves. Does that sound like a guy hiding to you? He was found in a house there was 7 houses that were attached in like a network. He wasn't hiding. This guy was in a very prominent place. He wasn't hidden in a cave. This is not Saddam Hussein. This is a guy living a very flamboyant lifestyle above the radar. And before you talk about someone else's lawn, check your own roof. I'm Tim Black, El Chapo. Look, guys, do me a favor. If you know something about Mexico and you know about El Chapo, if you know, please comment below. I'd like to become educated. I'd like to know more about it. It's a very interesting story. I don't think El Chapo is Robin Hood. I think he's a crook. He's a drug dealer, and I can't support that. But I am open to opinions. I'm Tim Black. This is Tim's Take Live. Thanks for tuning in. And I got a couple more stories coming today that are going to be pretty interesting. People riding for El Chapo. And they were paid too. He paid people. His organization has enough money and balls, cojones, to pay people to come out and ride for his release, even though he is admittedly a drug lord. Welcome to Mexico.